Hello, Security Pros. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar, Operationalizing RMR for Your Business. Today, we'll dive into why building a strong RMR strategy is essential not only for security integrators, but for businesses across all industries. We'll explore tools, data, and management practices that will help you optimize and grow your RMR business, ensuring stability and long-term success. I'm Demi Norris, a marketing specialist here at ESA, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us for your first ESA webinar. Welcome, and you will be muted for the duration of this session, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment that comes to mind at any point during the session today, please click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure we save some time for your questions with our experts today. Also, this is a recorded webinar, so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues tomorrow. You'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance with the link to the recording. Also, don't miss out on the opportunity to join us at ESX 2025, taking place on June 16th to 19th in Cobb County, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Braves. ESX is the premier event for electronic security and life safety professionals, with engaging sessions, valuable networking opportunities, and cutting-edge technology exhibits. ESX 2025 promises to be an unforgettable experience, so mark your calendars because registration will be opening soon. We at ESA realize your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to our presenter, Jeffrey Nesbitt, Head of Partnerships at Simpro. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure, is my screen showing okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone, and appreciate you coming today. RMR for your field service business and security contracting company. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is, as she mentioned, Jeffrey Nesbitt. I'm Head of Partnerships with Simpro. I've been in the construction industry and field services industry and technology for a little over 20 years now. I've had the pleasure of working with everyone from a guy, a dog, and a pickup truck up to multi-billion-dollar organizations, both domestically and globally here, helping them with best practices, operations reviews for their companies, as well as helping them with information selection for software and technology. Again, I've been very fortunate to be in this space for some time and looking forward to sharing today with you a little bit about RMR and how it can benefit your business. So why is RMR essential for service businesses and security? Well, stability, obviously, during economic downturn is a huge one, and predictability, right? With RMR, you're just not a one-time service provider, but you're now moving more into a trusted business advisor or trusted advisor role who can offer ongoing support and services for your clients. In turn, this can lead to increased customer loyalty, recurring business, which are crucial to success of any company. Recurring revenue is the foundation for that predictable, sustainable growth. If we want to think back to just recent times in 2020, when the economy pretty much shut down, one of two things happened for companies. They were either forced to stop projects that required them to be on site, right? Drying up money, cash flow very tight coming into the business, or they had a portion of their revenue coming in from recurring monthly revenue, RMR, right? Through a subscription-based software or service offering for security or projects. So for the former, these companies felt the pain almost immediately, right? They had to lay off employees, readjust for the downturn. The latter group, however, were likely to withstand that, right? Still providing services, needed services, service agreements that were in place, maintenance type work that regardless of what the economy was doing, that type of stuff had to continue on as opposed to the commercial work that was paused, right? So the critical importance of RMR in times of economic downturns really can't be overstated. And the number of integrators that are engaging in RMR driven business is really, really growing right now. And it's not just limited to security services anymore. You're starting to see the traditional trade organizations like electrical, mechanical, HVAC, plumbing, right? They're now starting to reassess their need to have ongoing revenue as part of their business strategy. So for those types of commercial contractors looking to implement a service line or service business within it, right? They're looking to have that diversification of incoming revenue streams and the ability to more accurately predict cycles and be able to do forecasting, maintenance agreements, staffing allocation, all those types of things comes along with RMR. But one of the biggest challenges that companies face is ensuring their RMR business is optimized for success, which not only involves the right tools and resources, but also the data. Centralizing your business goals is really key, and full cycle management, which we're going to talk about today, that can ensure the success of a service-based organization. RMR is more than just some extra money in your pocket, but we're not going to complain about that. But being able to incorporate RMR into your service models can greatly help you improve the overall health and outlook of your companies moving forward. The benefits of developing RMR streams: one, let's just get out of the way, profitability, right? Getting the obvious one out of the way here first. It goes without saying the most important benefit of recurring revenue for your business is to make you more money. You make more money, you net more profit, the added profit, an added benefit of having to rely less on high sales volumes to make that money. We'll talk a little bit about that as well, the cost of retention and growing sales. Higher margins. Margins associated with recurring revenue service vastly outcompetes the average one-time sale when you think about it. So for a translation, you get more money back for what you put in. A multi-year service contract, according to Spec Op, has a margin of around 50%, while most one-time sales have a margin around 20%. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Revenue stability. Another benefit of recurring revenue is it's predictable. The income stream that is generated is guaranteed for the life of the contract. And that predictability helps enhance financial stability. Even during those rough patches, you're able to forecast where your company's going and what you're going to be doing. So beginning every month, quarter, and year, you have that predictable income streams to improve your financial strength. Very, very important, right? So the company grinds it out. You have that predictability. In the worst events or recessions or a pandemic, you understand where you are financially as an organization. And lastly, you may or may not be thinking about this, right? But business valuation. What's the succession plan for your company? You know, is it going to family members? Is it going to be a co-op? Is it owned by the employees? What's the value of your business? So having solid financials with RMR is an intrinsic value for your business as you grow, right? Those results show. Your business gets seen as a safe investment by having consistent, reliable payments on the book, which can help greatly, right? If you ever have plans to sell your business off, it's very easy in order for you to be able to do that. Or if you're looking for a loan, right? You have that predictability of the income when you go to the bank, you're going to insurity or insurance agents, all that provides significant value because the revenue base renews. So let me just pause for a second. From an enterprise valuation standpoint, revenue from maintenance and service contracts could be twice as much as we said right in the beginning. As your installation revenue is growing due to gross margin differences, it makes good dollars sense to do this because from a recurring base of business growth, there's stability to that revenue and scalability in ways customers are being served. So because the revenue base renews at a lower cost of sales, because you're only acquiring new business and existing business comes back without investment of additional sales, right? So we're adding new business, but our cost of keeping that business on the recurring revenue goes down, so we don't have to expend those additional sales dollars. One of the key functions or KPI indicators is data, right, in RMR optimization. So what's the importance of accurate data? It's data-driving business insights. They're critical for success. Aggregating that data in a meaningful way from your projects, your estimating tools, your sales tools, maintenance schedules, right, to forecast revenue accurately is critical. Some examples of like cross-departmental data usage is service, right? Optimizing your staff and maintenance timelines, having the ability to cross-train your employees is important, and then finance. Better financial forecasting, right? So let's take the finance department, for example. Leveraging tools that allow integrators to recommend service level agreements when service calls are needed, upcoming projects and timelines, sales and marketing pipeline, asset management. All of these sort of silos or individual activities, right, means better financial forecasting for a company. Similarly, for service leaders, the data collected can provide information around when devices, equipment, hardware is being used, what's being maintained, what's coming up, what type of staff is required for a specific period of time, right? Having a software tool to be able to say, to work on this type of equipment or this asset, we need specific requirements. Being able to automate that is extremely efficient, right? So what additional projects do we have come up? Do we need subcontractors, right? Taking together all this information results in more informed decision-making and resource allocation. So adoption of tools is really, really crucial to this. Provides a single source of truth for data across your company, providing vital cross-departmental communication and collaboration. So leveraging technology that provides deeper insight into the company is increasing where your profits are increasing or where you're suffering loss. Like, knowing where we're losing is as important to know as where we're winning, so we can take on the right type of work for the types of skill sets we have today. So I would add a caveat that technology, although it is a wonderful tool, it is just one tool in the process. I encourage you to really, before you purchase any technology, is to sort of take a step back and do that look in the mirror, that old Michael Jackson song, you know, looking in the mirror. Taking a look at what are we doing? Do we have the right people in place? Are we doing the right activities, and are we doing them efficiently? So it's really about people and processes and best practices. Layering technology on a broken process is not going to help your company. Layering technology on best practices is going to make you more efficient. It's going to lower your profit fade and give you better forecasting and job costing capabilities. So why is data crucial? According to Forrester Research, decision makers often only have access to 20% of the information when they're making a decision. So study shows that a significant proportion of companies' data goes unused for any analytics or meaningful decisions that they're looking to make. So what's the impact on decision makings with data? Well, you get suboptimal choices, obviously. Incomplete information can lead to less than ideal business decisions. Missed opportunities, right? Missing critical insight may be overlooked if the relevant data is not properly analyzed, and of course, increased risk. Decisions based on limited information can potentially expose you to greater risk or profit fade if you're not analyzing the data. So when we think about that study and only having 20% of the information available today, where in life is that acceptable, right? For example, if I went to the doctor's office and they're like, you've got XYZ, Jeffrey, and here's 20% of the information you need to make a decision on what you should do next. Never an acceptable thing. We shouldn't have that type of loss of data within our organization. So utilizing the right technology across our organization to help us make more informed, increased decisions. So how do we align our RMR with our business goals? Companies should consider the overall goals of the businesses you guys are building out with an RMM function. Included some of the questions that owners, C-suites, service teams, everyone should be asking yourself if we're going to be adding this type of business line. Like, what's the vision for our organization and adding RMR to the mix? You know, what do we want to see? What's that vision? What is the goal percentage of RMR we want to have for, say, project-based work, right? Do we have KPIs that we're shooting for, and why are we shooting for those? And what functions of our business are actually ready and primed to do RMR work? Are we ready if we want to flip that switch? Do we have the skill sets? Do we have the tools in place to do that? And where are we standing in the market today versus our competitors? What do we have in place that will allow for the growth of RMR, and what is still needed? And how will leadership or ownership define success of an RMR program? Right, starting with the end in mind and working backwards from that. What is that timeline from the time we want to launch RMR in our organization to today, and all the activities and things we have to do? And what technology do we have in place to help us support that, right? It's more than just people, yellow notepads and paper and phone calls, right? We need to apply technology. So many businesses are currently looking to do more with less. And this is the goal in today's market, right? A compelling argument for creating RMR motion for a service integration business. This means making teams more efficient as a core component of doing business across your organization. And as technology options continue to emerge, and they are on a daily basis, that can manage all the critical aspects, such as your business function, it will become easier for you guys to recognize whether goals are being met. Using real-time data, as I mentioned, it's king, to satisfy your leadership needs, your ownership needs, which is where full cycle RMR management can come in. When we start talking about full cycle management of RMR, it's really centralizing the functions for RMR management, right? Managing sales, service, project, invoicing, accounting in one platform, right? We're talking about different departments, different data silos, essentially, and being more proactive versus reactive, right? Move from a reactive service management to a proactive, right? With proactive scheduling, automated invoicing, some workflows. So in services, success relies on getting resources with the right capabilities on the right assignments at the right margins. We have very tight margins. Having them at the right margins is crucial, right? So effectively managing this process is important for your client satisfaction and the success of your project delivery. It's extremely valuable. So as an example, if I have 15 resources and I apply the right technologies to my organization to support my best practices, I've got 15 resources and I add 10 hours of billable work per week. Well, that means a total of 150 extra billable hours a week. And if we have an average bill rate of $200 an hour, well, that can be 30,000 revenue each week, right? Or almost 1.5 or 1.4 million of profit each year, right? Just by adding 10 hours to your 15 resources. That's what technology allows you to do, is automate some of those workflows, right? So phase one in any job is the estimate, right? The estimating phase occurs during the sales cycle when new business team, account managers, project managers, right? They're all collaborating during the proposal process to get the right idea for the project, the resources, the budget that's needed. This phase is critical for setting up a project for success. So that's winning the right jobs at the right price. And that's so understanding how we're bidding the work, the resources, and the activities, and being able to cost those at the effective level. Sort of the next step is that plan. During the planning phase, that's when your service managers or project managers, department heads determine what resources are we allocating for a project that maximizes our profitability, and the ability to visualize the entire resource pool and make any adjustments. So workforce management, right? Understanding the right people and the right roles, as we talked about. That's key, right, to success. And then there's the delivery phase, the installation, the service, whatever that may be, that's when the project's set in motion. The project team, managers, service managers, resource managers, they communicate and collaborate on changes in project scopes, timelines, and budgets, and adjust accordingly. This is the phase when any unexpected changes or obstacles pop up. That never happens in our industry, does it, right? So change management also becomes crucial at that point. Change orders, understanding, profit fade and helping to eliminate that. Although the impact of these ideally are minimized because the prep work in the estimate, we know these things happen. And then we have, I would say, phase 4. That's the maintain. That's the service level. That's where your service level agreements come into place. That's really the RMR phase. Once we've installed, implemented the work, completed our projects, that's where we want to start to put them and look at that RMR, full cycle management, where we tie it all together, and we can start to get that recurring monthly revenue for scalability and dependability. The last piece I would say is analyzing and optimizing. Although we listed at the last piece, it's not the final step. It's a phase that just is constantly layered across the RMR process to help make decisions more effectively and quickly, right? Data is king. Everyone involved in projects has a hand in this phase, and it requires constant measuring of results. You should always be looking at it. It's like job costing. The way we estimate a job is not the way we manage or build the job, which may not be the way we account for the job, but yet everybody in your organization is touching that job at any given point in time. So having a uniform platform specifically built for your business allows you to do that analysis and optimization throughout that process. So what's the case for full automation? Obviously, saving time and resources is one. You want to automate streamlines, workflows, reduce your manual tasks. An example is automating job assignments, right? Invoicing is another one, automating invoicing and that tracking. When I did a study with several clients over the course of a 5-year span, I learned that the average cost to process and pay invoices is roughly about $34 an invoice. So if we can cut down and, especially contractors in the trades and security, they could have thousands of invoices a month, right? So that's a substantial cost. So being able to automate that process helps significantly, lowering costs, increasing profits, and eliminating profit fade. So we're looking to go from a high touch to a low touch, moving things from high touch processes to low touch or impact using automation within our software. So you want to centralize these business functions, track your incoming leads from marketing and sales, where these leads are in the sales process and time frame around closing. So understanding what opportunities do you have coming up and putting a percentage against that of confidence, right? Of how much work we know we are awarded and we have confidence in that we're going to win this much, right? Then being able to manage those service calls with streamlined scheduling so your service leaders can allocate service calls easily. Again, helping to automate that. Giving our technicians, the people in the field, real-time alerts of any critical changes with the job for job tracking and monitoring purposes, right? Automating messages, better communication with not only your internal staff, but with your customers, right? For better coordination and ultimately better customer service, which leads to retention. You want to plan your schedules for maintenance work to avoid downtime, right? Or any missed deadlines with customers. With a scheduling tool, with resource management capabilities, with having, again, the right people in the right place, you can help automate that to an extent to help speed and expedite that. And then we want to track multiple phases in projects, right? If it's a large project, make sure our estimating solutions tied in. We want to automate task assignments. We want to track progress, whether it's quantities, units in place, hours for billing purposes and reporting and invoicing. So again, automating that invoice based on your schedule and tracking of projects quickly speeds up that process, which increases cash flow. And as we know in our industry, cash flow is king. As a security integrator, as a specialty subcontractor, working for an owner or a GC, it could take us between 90 and 120 days to get paid. So essentially, as the subcontractors or security contractors, we are funding our own growth. We are the bank to ourselves because we can't go out and bid or win new work because we don't have the cash flow to buy the materials or the equipment or the assets. So again, automating that process frees up cash flow, which allows us to help grow our business. Today, service is very linear in our industry and how we respond, right? We're taking calls, we're installing, we're hitting obstacles, we're dispatching people, we're invoicing from the back office once the field brings back a paper time card or what units were installed or what was worked on. Then it's manually entered into an accounting system for invoicing purposes. We know no errors ever happen there, just at other people's companies, not ours, right? But again, a very redundant process. Sometimes those time cards, those invoices, the paperwork, it's, getting a lot of windshield time in today's world is stuck under someone's front seat in their truck, right? So we want to understand how we can move away from this. So what is SimPro's role in RMR optimization? Well, SimPro is an end-to-end solution. It's a platform built for the trades, by the trades, by people that have worked at it for over 20 years. So when we look at where we fit, these are all departments, typically within an organization. You may have them all, you may have a few, or you may have others, right? You've got estimating, you've got project managers, you've got field coordinators, or, you know, you're tracking inventory, equipment, you may have purchasing departments, you got your field staff, right? Simpro helps business to automate that process, right? From job tracking to invoicing and reporting, scheduling, automating that process. So thinking of those departments and bringing it into the world of software and technology, we want to think of things more from a workflow perspective, right? Instead of those different departments and silos, we want to have workflow automation in your tools. So automate that time-consuming task is quoting, scheduling, invoicing that we've been talking about helps provide real-time access across all your departments. So again, quotes and estimates, winning the right jobs at the right price. That's key to success, as I mentioned. Managing that job from the field. How are we building it? Is it in line with how we estimated it? Our field staff, our service staff, scheduling, coordination, communication, service level agreements. What equipment are we working on? What materials are we using? Do we have just-in-time inventory? Are we pulling from our warehouses? Are our trucks mobile warehouses? Are we tracking that accordingly, right? And job costing that against the work orders? From a field operations standpoint, what are the workflows, the forms, the things the techs and staff in the field need to be able to do? And then, of course, having a portal for our customers, our clients to be able to go into, manage their invoices, make payments, or take payments from the field, as I mentioned, right? We have the ability to collect payments right in the field. And then tying that to your back office. To me, that's a crucial function. When I look at the different tools and working with hundreds of organizations over the years on best practices, there's what I would call the triangle of truth. That's your scope, schedule, and actual. So what do I mean by that? That's tying your estimate to your actual things you're doing in the schedule, and the actuals is from the financial department, right? What are we actually doing? What we said we did. I know we're doing it in the time frame we said we would do it. So that's where I see companies in the biggest risk factor is when your operational software is not tied to your back office software, your accounting platform, your ERP, whatever that may be. That's where profit fade typically happens. And profit fade is the understanding from a time of an occurrence happening in the field to that information being relayed to the back office for making decisions. As I mentioned, data is king, being able to make a financial decision based on that. That's where profit fade happens, right? That communication to field and back office. It's very important to tie your operations and your accounting departments together. So you can do the reporting and business intelligence to make those data-driven decisions, right? Again, clearly, estimating, how we estimate is different than the way we manage, is the way we build it and the way we maybe bill it from the accounting perspective. The key is tying those solutions together and Simpro as your platform, your operational platform, to be able to help you eliminate that profit fade and make those types of data decision driven. So again, if you can't see the theme, it really is about data. Those who aren't tracking data today will be those who candidly are going to be struggling in the future or candidly out of business, right? So you need that single source of truth to reduce the communication delays that organizations traditionally have, that we have, because of the type of work that we do, right? And eliminate errors, right? If you're using Excel spreadsheets, you're using paper time cards, you're using an accounting tool, maybe you're using a time tracking app, right? If all those things aren't tied together in one platform, there's going to be the human factor of errors and, again, risk factors for profit. So we want to maximize our RMO, right? We want to scale our business. You want to have an application or platform that allows your business to handle more jobs, increase your revenue, and manage larger contracts without adding staff. As I mentioned earlier, organizations think if I purchase software that it's going to solve all my problems. I candidly can tell you that is only a correct statement if you clean up what you're doing internally first, right? And then applying the right technology or platforms to leverage your best practices. And then you want to have efficient project management, right? We have multiple components to our companies. We may have new jobs and we have service jobs. Project management is extremely important, right? It helps you streamline those multi-phase jobs and turn them into service jobs, right? Again, utilizing data and adding to it, not repeating it or re-entering it. So when we're looking at RMR, we're talking about really being able to, and RMR within SimPro, to handle more jobs, increase our revenue, manage those larger projects and streamline those projects and turn them into service jobs or service level agreements to work towards our RMR goals in our organizations. So typically when we see companies using a platform like SimPro, technicians gain more billable hours, right? And reduce project turnaround times. That's what I was talking about earlier in the beginning, right? We've got 10 technicians or 15 technicians and we could get 10 more billable hours out of them a week. It significantly increases to the bottom line for your profit, your revenue. So it's about creating a business that's sustainable, recurring, and consistently growing without the impact of adding additional salespeople. So preparing your business for success, you have to start by sort of centralizing all your data and business functions. As I said, we have all the different departments in silos. Don't let everyone go out and solve their own departmental problems, whether you're estimating or accounting. You really today, in today's world, should be looking at platforms. A platform like SimPro that's built for the trades, built for security business, integrators. Those types of organizations need that type of platform that's holistic, right? We take it from a linear to that circular, closed loop, where it's about workflows and processes. It's improving your automation, enhancing your customer service, right? This all helps towards your long-term success, right? You leverage SimPro to maintain and grow RMR, and you do that through automation and data-driven decisions. Again, without having a complete holistic platform solution, that data is unattainable today, candidly, right? Or very fragmented and you can't make those decisions. We've seen organizations improve productivity by 50% or more by having everything within one platform, right? Just out of the gates, before you even start to analyzing it, just having it available increases your ability to lower that profit fade and increase your revenue. And with that, we'll go ahead and pause here for anyone that has any questions today. And again, I wanted to thank you for your time. We'll share this slide deck out and we can handle any questions that you have today as well.
Perfect. So we do have a question. Does SimPro have full accounting billing functionality built in or only integrations with other platforms?
Great question. And the answer is yes and no. And what I mean by that is within SimPro, what I would call, we are not an accounting or, let me be very clear, we're not an accounting or an ERP platform like Sage or QuickBooks or, products like that. But we have accounting functionality. And what do I mean by that? I would call it at the job level. We have job level financials where we are tracking job costs, we're tracking payroll, hours, we're invoicing within our platform, we have purchasing capabilities and inventory, and we also have change management and change orders, right? So those are all accounting functions that typically can be done by the field at the job level, but we do integrate with all the major back office accounting solutions for what the things that you need to do, which is your month end, your year end, have it available for auditing with your CPA firm and all those types of things.
Perfect. We also have, what is the biggest challenge in moving from a traditional model to a monthly revenue model?
It's change management. It's an organizational change. And so the biggest challenge is having those clear goals from leadership down. And one of the things that I find helps push your vision forward as an organization is when you use a purpose-built platform like Simpro. When you're doing your reporting out of it, people start to see that, oh, when I'm entering my time card or I'm entering my hours or creating purchase orders, that's where this information is going. That's how the organization's making decisions. It's reinforcing good behaviors using a tool or a platform like Simpro, but it is change management. And I wouldn't suggest doing it all at once, right? It would be something I would personally say, what percentage of our business do we want to have under RMR? And maybe we start off and say, we want 15, 20% of our business, right? We want to work out those internal processes and kinks that we may not even be informed that we have today because we're not doing that. So I would say start small, get that process proven out, get the hiccups worked out, and then you can start to say, okay, now we want to scale that up to 50 or 75% of our revenue.
Great. And then how does Simpro software help a company with setting up RMR?
Say that last part, I cut out a little bit. How does Simpro software
help a company with setting up RMR?
Well, Simpro, as I mentioned, is a platform built by the trades for the trades. So helping you set it up is sort of in the processes with already built into Simpro. So that workflow or that automation that we've been talking about, sort of best practices, Simpro is built on best practices by especially in trade and security contractors over the last 20 years. But it also allows the flexibility because every business is different and unique. And so it does allow you to have some customized workflows or automation based on your business. But to get started sort of out of the box, let's say we're going to have 75, 85% of what you need. And then you should not want something 100% because you're unique. Your business is unique. So you want to be able to configure that to allow for your business growth.
Perfect. And the last question is, what makes Simpro the right choice when evaluating software options?
Well, I encourage you to evaluate, right? Every application is not for everybody, but why do I think Simpro is the right choice? If you're asking for my professional opinion over 20 years, it really is because it's a platform approach. It's not software, it's a platform. And what's the difference between software? Software is Microsoft Word, right? Or Excel, like that's or timekeeping on my mobile phone. That's a software. A platform is purpose built for a business segment. And so we're going to address the life cycle of your business needs, as I mentioned, from estimating to integrating with accounting and job project financials and operations and service in between. So a platform is something that is going to be the best of breed. And it also allows for integration to other applications, like I mentioned, with accounting. And I will take it a step further and say, you know, we have estimating using our takeoff. You've got all these capabilities in Simpro, but if you have a very specific niche and say the way you estimate is very different than other people, well, that's okay, because with a platform, you can integrate seamlessly, not manually with data entry, seamlessly integrate to a platform where you can't do that. Two software applications don't integrate very well as opposed to a platform-based application.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And that concludes the end of this ESA webinar. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you to our presenters for being here. Keep an eye out in your emails. The recorded version of this session will be there for you to share with your colleagues or to rewatch for any important information that you might have missed or want to hear again. So thank you everybody, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.